On September 13th, a Roblox game named Steal a Brainrot officially became the biggest game of all time, even surpassing Grow a Garden with 24.1 million players online, a player count so big that it actually caused an outage. However, this insane rise has not come without controversy, with the most recent being one of their most iconic Brainrots, Tung 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 Sahur, completely vanishing from the game without a trace. However, after some digging, it turns out that this was not a bug or glitch. Tung 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 Sahur was intentionally removed, causing a massive outrage. On top of that, Steal a Brainrot has also had a controversial past because of the Roblox awards it won, the other Roblox game that they stole from, the brand new Steal a Brainrot Fortnite ripoff, and finally, one more truly dark secret. You see, the game's fast rise to fame also led some people to investigate into these Italian Brainrots further, and what they found hidden in these supposedly child-friendly Brainrots was absolutely disgusting. So what on earth is going on with Steal a Brainrot? Why was Tung 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 Sahur removed? And is this game as child-friendly as its creator and Roblox wants you to believe, or is something more nefarious going on underneath the surface? That's what we're going to find out after going through every single Steal a Brainrot controversy in this video. Also, only 0.00001% of the people watching my videos are subscribed, so please subscribe. But first, to understand the full story, what on earth even is an Italian Brainrot? Alright, so for those who aren't chronically online, Italian Brainrot starts off with this shark called Tralalero Tralala, which is basically an AI generated image of a shark wearing Nikes. In early 2025, these Italian Brainrot AI images were spreading all around the internet, and quickly the cast of Italian Brainrot characters was rapidly expanding. We started having classics like Bombardiro, Crocodillo, Cappuccino Assassino, the guy we'll be talking about later, Tung 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 Sahur, and my personal favorite, Bobrini Zucchini. And because of the massive appeal of these like animal AI humanoid objects, these Italian Brainrots became very popular with kids. And I guess a very similar comparison would be like Skippity Toilet, where there's all these different kind of characters and you know, kids love them. And when kids love something, you already know that it takes like a second for Roblox developers to hop on that craze, hence all of these Brainrot games. And of course, the most popular version of all is Steal a Brainrot, a game where you can take all of the previously mentioned Italian Brainrots that we saw before and purchase them to go into your base, where they generate passive income for you. And we can also steal Brainrots from other people, so if I just nab this bad boy, I guess we'll just as I'm recording this, it's literally 2 a.m. and there's still close to 1 million players active. In fact, Steal a Brainrot was so popular that they even won Best Creative Direction at the Roblox Innovation Awards, leading to our first controversy because looking at all the other nominees for Best Creative Direction, it was an extremely competitive category with Dead Rails, Grow a Garden, and 99 Nights in the Forest all being in contention for this award. And if we look at Steal a Brainrot, creative doesn't really come to mind, especially when you remember the fact that it's basically just a Roblox version of AI generated images, which seems like the furthest away you can get from actual creativity. So it was actually kind of shocking that Steal a Brainrot won, and it looks like the presenters weren't feeling it either.
Steal a Brainrot!
And if we look at the comments, people were not happy with this. How is this even creative? It's using memes based off literal AI generated slop. Worst games to ever touch the platform. Best creative and Brainrot in the same sentence. You cannot be serious, bro. Do we deserve destruction? But what makes this even more intriguing is this comment right here. Game based off AI generated characters originally, by the way. Shut up about creative. Game was stolen. That's extremely interesting because if we look at the creation date of Steal a Brainrot, we can see that it was made on May 15th, 2025. However, if we search up Steal a Character, this game looks oddly similar to Steal a Brainrot and even has the same mechanisms like the walking line of characters, the base where your character can generate you passive income, and the locking feature that prevents people from stealing your characters. And if we scroll down to the creation date, we can see that this game was created almost a full month before Steal a Brainrot, meaning this was the original game. And if we look at the game's history, we can see that this game was actually extremely popular with over 10,000 people playing it at once. But then after Steal a Brainrot took its game and replaced the characters with Brainrots, we can see that Steal a Brainrot catapulted to success while Steal a Character slowly died off. Concept taken from Steal a Character, building style taken from Grow a Garden, and almost all characters are made with AI. Of all awards, how did it win the Creativity Award? No dig to Steal a Brainrot, but the Creativity Award? Really? Why couldn't they have just given it a different one? However, it gets even worse for Steal a Brainrot because one of their OGs, the iconic Brainrot Brainrot Tung 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 Sahur has been removed from Steal a Brainrot following a copyright dispute. This is because the creator of Tung 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 Sahur, if you can even call it that, it's AI generated, but I guess the creator is the one who prompted it. Anyways, the creator's name is an Indonesian person named Noxa, who has generated every single one of these Brainrots. I guess you could call him like the modern day Picasso of Brainrots. We got we got absolute masterpieces like crypto, moo, big moo, and even Toby, who has a normal form and a dessert form. Oh nah. He's also made some other controversial Brainrots, which we'll be talking about later. But all you need to know for now is that this Indonesian guy named Noxa is like a modern day incubator for Italian Brainrots. And his most popular one by far is, of course, Tung 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 Sahur. However, if we go to his TikTok account, we can actually see this interesting email called tungtungsahur@momentumlab.com. And if we go to this website, it takes you to some sort of like agency for meme creators and game developers. And they talk about how to monetize and copyright your own meme creations. For example, create a viral avatar or phenomenon. The next big intellectual properties won't come from studios, but from internet chaos. You own the meme and we frame the distribution. And if we scroll down, one of their brands is literally Noxa's Tung Tung Sahur, which they've claimed has had over 10 billion views, 1.8 billion downloads, and 5 million videos made on it. And the rest of their brands are also just all Brainrots from Noxa. Seems like Noxa is carrying right now. Now here's where it starts to get interesting, because Momentum Lab believes that fan content and viral creativity deserve more than visibility. They deserve fair recognition, legal protection, and a share of the value they generate. And that's where this controversy starts, because it seems like Momentum Labs, with Noxa's IP Tung Tung Sahur, if you can even call it his own property, we'll talk about that later, seems to want a share of the money generated from all of these Roblox games that have the Tung Tung Sahur in them. And with Tung Tung Sahur being one of the most famous Italian Brainrots, you can see that it starts to become an issue because he's showing up in all of these different game covers, something that Momentum Lab seems to want a cut out of. But also we have to talk about the elephant in the room, because can you even copyright an AI generated image? I mean, bro didn't 3D render this or like draw it out, it's AI generated. So that raises the question, can you even call this his intellectual property? Now, I'm not a lawyer, so in Indonesia, where Noxa is from, it seems like AI-generated images generally cannot be protected under copyright law if they are created without significant human involvement. But again, these laws are so new that it's like really confusing, because it says if an AI system generates an image without substantial human creative input, it's unlikely to qualify for copyright protection. However, if the person uses AI as a tool, like writing a detailed prompt or editing the output, and the final image reflects creative decisions made by the human, then the human may be considered the author. So the laws get really muddy around this. An unclear example would be like if the AI generates the image and the user crops it, you know, then it's unclear to whether or not this might be enough human input for the human to be considered the author. So it's really weird because no one really knows what significant creative input really means. I also noticed that Momentum Lab is based in Paris, France, and it's basically the kind of the same thing. AI images are not protected by copyright, but if a human plays a creative role, then copyright may apply. But where does Steal a Brainrot fit into this? Well, unfortunately, because Momentum Lab says that the game is generating millions in revenue using the Tung 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 Sahur character, it has been fully removed from the game following a copyright dispute. Over the weekend of September 13th, players noticed that every single instance of Tung Sahur had been wiped from Steal a Brainrot, including his signature ramp entrance and on-screen appearance.
Literally every instance of him from the game got removed. Like right here, if we take a look, you see that shark right there? Tung Tung used to be right there. He got replaced with a shark. He's not in the game. In fact, if we go to an old stream of mine here and pause at the right moment, right there, you can see him at the top of the screen. He got replaced by the shark.
And this led to so much outrage on Noxa's TikTok page. Copying AI, bro. This guy, Tung Tung Sahur, needs to come back to Steal a Brainrot now. Copyright for a Brainrot generated by AI, sob emoji, skull emoji, praying emoji. I don't even know what this means, but this sounds devious. Okay, so they're saying if it weren't for Sammy, who's the creator of Steal a Brainrot, we would have forgotten you. And dang, that's a hard picture. And yeah, it seems like people of all languages are not happy about this. They removed Tung Tung because of you. It's all your fault. Bruh, Kamo Lava Poner Dericha. It means this. And yeah, overall, the sentiment is people are not happy with him, which forced Momentum Labs, which is Noxa's agency, to post this statement. Hello everyone, we are the agency of Noxa, and I'd like to clarify the situation about Tung Tung Sahur in Sammy's game Steal a Brainrot. Noxa did not remove Tung Tung Sahur. Neither Noxa nor us asked for Tung Tung Sahur to be removed. Sammy asked us to contact his lawyer. While we were waiting for the lawyer to get back to us, Sammy decides to remove the character from the game. It was Sammy's decision. Steal a Brainrot is making millions of revenue using Noxa's work, in which we invest time and resources. Okay, in all honesty, I'm watching this video, and as a video editor, this cannot take more than like 5 minutes to do, right? We got like a cap cut, like zoom in with the flame overlay, another flame overlay, you can just kind of like duplicate that. One more, okay, for the culture, respect. Then we got a zoom in pan, and then another flame overlay, cool. Ooh, okay, now that I can tell is a cap cut effect for sure. All right, so to show how much time and resources you really need, let me introduce you to Floating Belly Kappa Beanie. All right, so first off, the explosion, we'll hop on effects, videos effects. Oh, it's right there. All right, we'll just click that. Bang, we got the exact same explosion. Okay, next up, we're gonna go to video effects and search glowing doubles. No way, did we find it? Oh my goodness. Wait, let's see that one more time. Oh my goodness, we've done it. That was like 2 clicks. So yeah, because they've invested a lot of time and resources, it took 2 clicks. They have contacted Steal a Brainrot's creator Sammy to get a piece of that Steal a Brainrot pie, aka the millions of revenue that Steal a Brainrot has generated with the Tung Tung Sahur character. We were always open for discussion, and Noxa would be happy for the players to keep playing with Tung Sahur. The situation isn't fair regarding our partners, small and big studios, who have acquired our licenses in all fairness. Please share this information. So they're basically saying, because other companies, I guess, like small and big game studios, have basically paid Noxa and the Momentum Lab people to use Tung Tung Sahur, they're saying it's not fair that Sammy gets to use him without a license, which has led to Tung Tung Sahur getting removed from Steal a Brainrot. Copywriting a character you made from AI because everyone made millions but you is insanely funny to me. And apparently this isn't the first time that something like this has happened. In June, Noxa found out that Garena Free Fire, which is like a very popular PUBG style battle royale, was using the Tung 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 Sahur character as a character for their game, causing him to make this reaction. Nah, this is so unserious. It looks like he's gone through like 2 divorces and lost the house and kids. What is going on? Dang. Nah, this is crazy. And he said this. Yeah, I know it can't be copyrighted, but at least have some manners, okay? Like, I'm chatting and you don't reply for a game that's #1 in Indonesia. So it seems like even he knows that his Tung Tung Sahur can't be copyrighted, but I think he tried reaching out to the game and they didn't give him a response. So he's kind of upset about that. But even though these Italian Brainrots seem like harmless, child-friendly characters, I mean, just look how happy Coco Fanto El Fanto looks, you know? Could they be hiding secrets? Well, unfortunately, Italian Brainrots might be more controversial than you think. Because if we look at the actual meaning of what these Italian Brainrots are saying, things start to get really weird. For example, Trallallero Trallala originally came with an audio that said this in Italian.
Trallallero trallallà, porco Dio e porco Allah.
However, once translated, we start to see some weird things happening, because these seemingly harmless, funny words are actually translated to be some of the most vile and despicable sentences that should be nowhere near a Roblox kids game. On top of that, it seems to be disrespecting this certain religion. For those that don't know, Allah is apparently the god in the Islam religion, and obviously these kind of words in any context are just kind of disrespectful to both the god and the religion. But it only gets worse, because if we take a look at another Italian Brainrot, Bombardiero Crocodilo, it only gets worse. So apparently this is the original phrase in Italian, and it translates to another vulgar and disrespectful sentence about a flying alligator who does despicable things to these people. And of course, this is just such a vile sentence. And if we go to the creator's link, people are calling this out, saying the translation is crazy. It's not funny, bro. Many people died. Don't make it into a meme. And of course, controversial Brainrots like these are just chilling inside the Steal a Brainrot game. For example, Bombardiero Crocodilo is a mythic Brainrot, and the same goes for Trallallero Trallala, who's actually a Brainrot god in the game. Kind of ironic. And Noxa himself has also been responsible for creating some controversial Brainrots. The one that we saw earlier has direct references to ongoing controversial wars in the world right now. Obviously, these Brainrots are less popular, but if we look at other articles on Brainrots with potentially offensive material, we can see that there are so so many, and I honestly don't want to dive into this rabbit hole. Like, what the? And also kind of unrelated, but if you've ever wanted to know what Tung 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 Sahur means, apparently it refers to a traditional Indonesian and Malaysian custom where groups of people beat drums or bamboo instruments while chanting to wake community members for the sahur, which is the pre-dawn meal that Muslims consume before beginning their fast in the month of Ramadan. And the lore says that if someone is called for sahur 3 times and they don't answer, then this creature will pull up to your house with a baseball bat. So share this with your friends who have trouble eating sahur. And finally, we have to talk about Fortnite. Why is Kaisanat here? But basically, as you know, Fortnite is a huge battle royale game, but they also started introducing community-made games. And here you can already see we got the Go Garden, which is a Grow a Garden ripoff. But what we're looking for is the Steal the Brainrot version. And this game, which is just basically a Fortnite Steal a Brainrot ripoff, was just absolutely dunking on Fortnite itself. So here we can see it has 500,000 players, and Fortnite's own battle royale only has 100k. And Fortnite's version became so big that it even dethroned XXXTentacion's Red vs Blue event in Fortnite, making it the biggest creative game ever in Fortnite. However, it seems like Fortnite's player base wasn't too happy about this. Here we can see the official Fortnite account saying, "Hello chat, is this admin abuse?" while posting a promotion for their Steal a Brainrot copy. And both the Roblox community and the Fortnite community were both not feeling this at all. Actually, shut up, Fortnite. What happens to shame? Here's Lachlan, one of Fortnite's biggest creators, and he says, "Okay, cool, I'll just get the dev team to copy Roblox concepts 1-to-1, I guess. Only thing that actually works. Stealing a game about stealing." Here's a Fortnite creator saying, "AI generated slop thumbnail, stolen game concept, dead AF meme, logged by Roblox, most likely botted player count. We get you need to get the player numbers up, but really? This?" And funnily enough, the Fortnite community also seems to have a problem where truly horrendous AI slop games get promoted way more than games that actually deserve it. So here we can see this person saying, "Promote actual good maps like these ones. It's just sad that you will rarely post actual maps people have worked hard on. This map that you promoted is not only just slop, but a stolen idea from another platform." So yeah, I didn't know Fortnite was down bad like this, but apparently they're also going through some stuff. So what are your thoughts on the Tung 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 Sahur Steal a Brainrot Roblox situation? Please let me know in the comments below and subscribe for more Roblox Explained.